Welcome to the Jaguar Podcast, a show where we discuss all things related to Duval County's finest NFL football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Blue 42, set, what?
Duval, baby! Hey everybody, it's Andrew and welcome to episode 43 of the Jaguar Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be doing a game recap of the matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let's jump into it. Unfortunately, it was a miserable Monday this week. We lost this game to the Buccaneers 28-11. I want to apologize just from the outright. I've been a little slow getting episodes this week out because I've been sick. Just stuff going on, so I apologize for that, but should have some more great content coming your way. So let's jump into it. You know, this game was a dumpster fire. Just wasn't very good game to watch. Nick Foles struggled. He was benched in this game. Gardner Minshew came in. Foles was looking kind of good in the first series. He threw a nice deep ball to, I believe it was D.D. Westbrook. But, he had two fumbles in the game. I didn't really think they were his fault. Right tackle Jawan Taylor let the defensive end come in and hit, Nick from his backside, and he fumbled. So, the offensive line just has to play better. They're not playing very well at all. It just hasn't been good. Cam Robinson, he hasn't been playing well either. So it's just been a real problem for Jacksonville this season. Foles goes to the bench in this game. I'll talk a little bit more about that in another episode, but the defense didn't look good at all. The secondary got burned on a bunch of plays. Trey Herndon just didn't look good, our corner. Just really not much to say here about this game. Minshew did come in and play better, but I don't know. It's just this kind of run and gun shit that he does. I think Minshew brings a lot of energy to the team, but again, I've seen him in these games where he does this run and gun stuff. He runs around, scrambles, throws these quick passes, but I just don't know if that's going to be enough for the starting quarterback position here in Jacksonville. But like I said, again, I'll go into that in a little bit more depth in another episode. But, we didn't run the ball much in this game. That was kind of disappointing as well. Fournette, again, catching more passes than carries in this game. The defense did have some shining moments in this game. Andrew Wingard, our safety, had a nice fumble recovery. Josh Allen looked great. He had a sack, and then he had a really nice tackle out in the flats to stop Tampa Bay short for a third down conversion. So that was really nice. But yeah, the defense, we got lit up by Jameis Winston. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He had I believe it was 268 yards passing on us. This guy's not a good quarterback. So it's just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous. But let's jump into the box score. Passing in the air for Jacksonville. Quarterback Nick Foles, 7 for 14, 93 yards, one pick, which was just atrocious. There's nobody there. He also had two lost fumbles, so that wasn't good, but it wasn't his fault. Again, I think it's just been the really poor blocking by the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line. Gardner Minshew came in. He was 16 for 27, 147 yards passing, one touchdown and one pick. The one interception bounced off of D.D. Westbrook's hands. I think D.D. Westbrook should have caught it, honestly. Just wasn't a pass that was uncatchable. And, there was some comment by John DeFilippo in a press conference following the game where he said that was a rookie mistake by Minshew for throwing the pass too hard. I don't know, man. I think Westbrook has to catch that pass. I think that's on Westbrook. That's not on Minshew. But, I think Gardner came in and played, halfway decent. Again, there was a fumble by him and towards the end of the game. That's just bad, man. Ball security for our quarterbacks has not been good this year. And, when I see Gardner Minshew fumble like that again, it just reminds me to when he was, at the helm earlier this season. So, again, that's kind of where I kind of debate how much we're getting with putting Gardner Minshew back in at the helm at the quarterback position. But, like I said, I'll go into that in another episode. On the ground rushing, running back Leonard Fournette, 14 carries, 38 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. That's not good. We got to give the ball to Leonard more. And we just kind of went away from the running game in this game, which is, it's not good. It's just not good. I'm concerned about him. I'm concerned about the play calling of John DeFilippo. That was a concern at his last job when he was at Minnesota, that he wouldn't run the ball there, and then he was fired. So, I don't know how much that's going to change here. Unfortunately, in Jacksonville, I mean, kind of all signs are leading that way, that he doesn't want to run the ball, right? You see Leonard Fournette lining up as a wide receiver. He's just not getting the ball much. So I feel like we need to make a change. We need to give him the ball more. And hopefully we'll see that in the next game with LA. But, we'll see what happens. But, Gardner Minshew had 2 carries for 8 yards, and then Nick Foles had one, scramble for 3 yards. So, not much on the ground. In the receiving arena, D.D. Westbrook had a great game, 5 receptions, 60 yards. Chris Conley, 4 receptions, 57 yards. I forgot to mention that D.D. Westbrook also had a touchdown. My apologies there. Running back Leonard Fournette, 9 receptions for 53 yards. And then DJ Chark, 2 receptions for 43 yards. So, Westbrook had a great game. He needed to catch that one pass, but, it happens. On a special teams front, Josh Lambo hit a nice field goal for 53 yards. D.D. Westbrook had a nice punt return there for 48 yards, so that was pretty awesome. Going into the defensive side of the ball for Jacksonville, Leon Jacobs, he had 1 sack. That was really nice. And then we had Josh Allen had a sack too. Donald Payne, our linebacker, kind of filling in for, I believe it was Miles Jack. He had a sack, and then Andrew Wingard, as I said, our safety, had a strip sack there. So, or a fumble rather. The defense didn't play very good in this game. Not much to say there. They need to play better. They gave up 268 yards passing, in the air. On the ground, a little bit better. I believe they only gave up about 70 yards on the ground to Tampa Bay. But again, looking at the defensive line, Taven Bryan he's just getting his ass kicked in this game. I mean, he's just no penetration. I just think we should bench him at this point. Throw Dontavius Russell in there, give him some reps. I think I saw him, later in the Titans game, but we need to put him in there and see if there's any difference. Get him some reps. See if he can kind of clog up those gaps and keep those offensive linemen off our linebackers. I really think they need to make a change there. Taven Bryan needs to go to the bench, and let's see Dontavius Russell. But that's really all I have to say about this game. Let me know how you feel about this game. Leave a comment on the YouTube video or podcast episode. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. Go Jags, and I'll see you next time.
Let me get that. JYD coming up with the big sack. Quarterbacks beware, we on the prowl. Game day night, you could hear it in our growl. Intimidation on to keep their hearts racing. Eating other teams live on TV front of the nation. Spectacular defensive scheme.
This episode is available on the Jaguar Podcast YouTube channel. So if you stop by, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. Also, these episodes are available on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other major podcast distributors as well. So if you don't mind, please leave me a review and some feedback. I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, my Twitter handle is @JagWarPodcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. This is Andrew signing off. Cheers.